Welcome to the Two Blokes Chatting radio show on 94.7 The Pulse. Music, interviews, news, and, well, Two Blokes Chatting. Now, here are the two blokes.
'Cause I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I've breathed the mountain air, man. Of travel I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. Been to Tullamore, Seymour, Lismore, Mooloolaba, Nambour, Roochdore, Kilmore, Mooloolaba, Birdsville, Emmaville, Wallaville, Connemara, Connemara, Strathrown, Proserpine, Alladala, Darwin, Gingin, Nillaquin, Muckdilla, Wallumbilla, Bougainville, Coonawarra, I'm a killer. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man.
Invalid. There's our mate, Lucky Star, friend of the program, of course. We're going to have to come up with, I think they're mobs, aren't they? Mates of the blokes, because fobs didn't work. Apparently it's a naughty word. We are looking at 12 minutes to 11 o'clock, and Rob Cameron, you have got someone on the telephone there.
Well, Digi did allude to the fact that Eildon is a beautiful place to go, and I know another fella who would agree with him. His name's Craig Parker. He used to be in Inverleigh, now he's in Eildon. Parksy, good morning, and welcome to the Two Blokes Chatting radio show.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody.
Great to have you on. We have this regular segment where we take our listeners to all different parts of Australia, but mainly Victoria, because we want people to get in their cars and go for a drive and have some fun. Johnny Didge, our fishing man, is always talking about putting the boat on, getting the rods and going for a drive to the wonderful places of Victoria. He rates Eildon very highly. You're a bit of a fish nut. Has it always been a place you love to go?
I've been coming up here since I was 19 and I'm 48 now, so yeah, I'll probably say that. Pretty much we started coming up here back when it was like the Yellow Valley Mecca of Victoria, and obviously since then they've stocked this lake with Murray cod and the food in here, and they grow big, and they grow big quick. Like anybody wanting to chase big metre cod or metre 10, metre 20, metre 30, this is the place to go. Yeah, plenty of fish out here. Plenty of water now too, 99.5% again. We did get to 104, and and sorry to the people in Seymour and that, let water go from here, but they were already flooding anyway. We just made it worse, but that's just what happens when you've got a wet year, isn't it?
Well, Parks, it's Neil here. Rob's just got the calculator out. He's trying to work out what 48 take away 19 is, so I'll fill him while he's trying to work that out. He's got his shoes and socks up here as well. The accommodator, I think Eildon's one of those places is a bit like Sarnham going to Gippsland. You know, like there's so many different places that people can go in and around Eildon. There's one very well-known place where the Serenity's quite good, but I've got places like, Hauqua and these sort of places in my mind. Is there, how many sort of settlements around the lake are there? Jerusalem Creek, I think, is another one.
Yeah, well, obviously, the closest from Geelong is actually the township of Eildon, which is only about 2 kilometres from the main wall at the lake with a boat ramp, and then you've got 3 separate sort of areas where marinas are, where the houseboats. There's something like 560 houseboats up here.
Gee.
Yeah, so there's obviously higher houseboats, and obviously then a lot of them are, there's a couple of private marinas as well, where you obviously got to be a member and you pay your fee, and it's all locked security, restaurants, the whole lot. So that's the closest here. Then obviously your next closest would be Bonnie Doon, and we all know about Bonnie Doon.
Rob's going to sing for us now.
Yeah, the problem with Bonnie Doon at the moment, great. Plenty of water. Once we start getting back around that 80% and it starts dropping down, Bonnie Doon becomes very shallow, i.e. starts drying up. It's the shallowest part of the lake. But like I said, right now, it's great. Wasn't that long ago people were driving under the bridge in their cars, and now you can't get your boat under the bridge.
So how long is the water level going to stay at peak? Is it you've got at least a 12-month guarantee before it starts to subside a bit?
With the last 2 years we had, obviously it's a catchment for irrigation, which is obviously called upon, obviously down through the Goulburn River system, which again obviously goes into the Murray, and like some of this water goes all the way down to Renmark down in South Australia. Yeah. That way there. So it's just the demand. Obviously we're having a wet year, so the demand won't be there. And we've obviously got a lot of smaller water holding areas. A lot of our decommissioned storage dams were actually reopened up to try and hold back a bit of flow of water. So they'll use them first. So, we're probably looking at if we don't get any more rain for 12 months, it'll probably get down to 60%. But if we keep getting, which is predicted, rain over summer, you're probably going to see it maybe drop down to 80. Everything's sort of chock-a-block full. So they'll use the lakes that are going to evaporate and dry up quickly, stuff that only holds, 30, 40, 150, 200,000 meg. They'll use them before they really start calling too much on us. But pretty much with 1,500 meg going down to Goulburn now, it was backed off to 800, and they're going to put it up during the week for about 4 days, about 3.5, and it all just depends on rain. But yeah, it's all a management thing.
According to Rob Cameron earlier today, when he read the weather, we've got another 20 mils coming to Geelong this week. So I suspect you get a bit more this week. That's just what you need, I would have thought, a little bit more rain up there.
Yeah, well, it's dry enough now. You look up in the mountains, and yeah, it's starting to dry off already. Obviously, the water doesn't hold up there because it runs off into the lake. But yeah, you got 20 mil of rain probably won't hurt us. We don't want 120 mil of rain up in the hills somewhere, because that's when it really flows in very quick. Like it'd be 3,000 meg one day coming inflow, and you're looking, you got 5 sort of major rivers. You've got Big River, you got Jamison River, you got Goulburn River, Galatite River, and there's another one that joins in it up through Kevington there as well, comes in. So that'll come. If we get a massive storm up in sort of over Mount Buller back, towards Gippsland, a lot of that runs back in to the lake here. So
does the Buller snow melt and run into your part of the world, or is that go a different way?
Yeah, part of it does. Yeah, about 10%, I think, is what we sort of, 10% of snow runs off into the lake, and that runs down to Galatite.
Parksy, I do know that you took a bit of a risk in your life at 45 years of age and left a comfortable little lifestyle in a pretty little town to go up and take a punt on the business up there, and not long after that COVID hit and people weren't allowed to travel. You obviously haven't had the best start to your business world, but how is life up there now?
Yeah. Now someone had said to me, you're gonna fork out $200,000 and put your house and everything on the line, and then we're gonna have 2 years of COVID. You wouldn't go and have a jump at it, would you? But it's definitely in and out of all those lockdowns, because we are only an hour from Melbourne, an hour and a half from sort of 2 hours max from western suburbs. We did get a lot of people flocking up, but we sort of kept it floating. And again, bit of a unique business. I'm not just fishing tackle, I'm automotive. It's pretty much a general store. So you're either driving to Melbourne, which you couldn't do, so you've got to come and shop at mine. But definitely this summer it's going to be a lot different than what we've had. Obviously, a lot of water, which means a lot more areas for people to go and do their boating activities, skiing, jet skis, etc. But the other benefit for us, and misfortune for everyone along the Murray, is we closed the Murray River from Hume all the way to pretty much Redcliffe for all camping and pretty much water sports till the 23rd of March. So people aren't going to have too many places to go. So,
and I guess the folk who like camping on the Murray, which doesn't include me by some distance, I've got to say, I guess camping at Eildon is not a bad substitute. No,
well, you've got a fair bit of national park, which you can book. You've got flushable toilets, you've got hot water services and everything there. So it's pretty much you pay your caravan and just go and have a hot shower and all that. And then you've got other parts, obviously, where you've got the drop toilets and there's a little bit of tank water, or you take your own in. But then you've got a lot of state park, between Eildon and Jamison, a lot of state park / national park sections all over it, and there's camping areas there. There's rivers and little creeks, etc. And you get a lot of people camping up through there, which benefits Jamison because they drive that 20, 30 k's into Jamison to go and do a bit of shopping, or they drive to Eildon to do a bit of shopping. Then you've got a lot of holiday houses, holiday rentals in your Max Cove, Haukla, around the Gulfs Bay. there as well. And then obviously at Coffs Bay you go into what they call the Pines, part again a state and national park there, and there's allocated campgrounds. The biggest issue is you're not allowed to camp below the high water mark. At the moment, 99.5%. You're not camping too far from the water, so when it's back down to 40%, you're camping a long way from the water. And that's just due to, obviously, people, there's only one irresponsible person out of every 15 or 20 in that leaves rubbish or decides to go to the toilet behind a tree and not bury it properly, that can pollute the water. So that's why they've got those regulations in.
Well, we are coming up to the end of the program, so we better move you along. Fortunately, Paul Cronin is on his motorbike riding from Matlock. He comes down from Matlock Police, and because you're as young as you are, you won't remember that television program. But, thanks for joining us up there at Eildon Parksy, and all power to you. Have a great break over the Christmas. You know what I mean? You won't have a break, but you know what I mean. Have a great season.
Yeah, I have one day off over Christmas. That's Christmas Day, and then back into it.
Good on you, mate.
It'll be all good.
Both guys.
I hope it really goes well for you. I know you need it to work, and it sounds like it is. Good stuff, mate. Best wishes.
It's working well, and the fish are going stupid now. So if anyone wants to catch fish, the river systems up here for trout is, talking boats that are in their 80s, and they've never seen it this good. So
excellent.
Yeah, good stuff.
Thanks, mate.
Good on you, mate.
All
Best
the best.
wishes.
No, see ya. Thanks, Blake.